What is going on, everybody? Today I will be previewing the 2024 college football schedule for NC State. I will go through every game on their schedule and I will predict which games on the schedule I think they will win, and I will also predict which games on the schedule I think they will lose. But before we preview their schedule, let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel, because we upload daily college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider subscribing. And also consider joining my Discord server down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into the video. NC State has won 8 or more games the past 4 seasons. They've been a consistently good team and they've been utilizing the transfer portal pretty well. Next season, NC State could be a potential sleeper team of the ACC. The schedule is pretty easy, and 2024 could be a breakout season for NC State. They have been a consistently good team over the last decade, and there has to be a year where they put it all together and win double-digit games and possibly compete for an ACC championship. NC State has had multiple 8 or 9 win seasons, but have never won double-digit games since 2002, and I think that's kind of crazy to think about. But this team is a big sleeper team heading into 2024. They have an easy schedule and they brought in a decent amount of transfer portal additions who can make a big impact for this team. NC State ranks 80th in return on production, and they do lose the best player on the defense, Peyton Wilson. But this team really should still be good. They brought in Grayson McCall at quarterback, who could be a very underrated quarterback pickup for this team. They also brought in 4-star receiver Noah Rogers from Ohio State and 4-star tight end from UConn, Justin Joly. They also brought in 3-star receiver Wesley Grimes from Wake Forest. New 4-star running back Jordan Waiters from Duke could be a very good pickup at running back as well. The defense will add a decent amount of players in the secondary like Devon Marshall and Tamarcus Cooley. They only brought in 13 transfers, but they brought in a bunch of players who could make a big impact for this team. And I'm excited to see what they will do in 2024 with some of the new faces on the team. But anyways, let's get into predicting their schedule, and they open the season playing at home against FCS Western Carolina. This game should definitely be an easy win for NC State. Western Carolina isn't a great team, and this will be the cupcake game on the schedule for NC State. There's nothing much to say about this game, and I definitely have NC State winning their home opener, and I have NC State moving to 1-0 to start the season. The next game for NC State will be a neutral site game against Tennessee in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is definitely going to be one of the biggest games on the schedule for NC State in 2024. Tennessee is going to be a solid team, and they will probably be ranked heading into this game. Nico Iamaleava could really help elevate that Tennessee offense, and I do expect Tennessee to be really good. Maybe the offense for Tennessee will not be as good as it was in 2022 when they had the #1 offense, but it should definitely be better than it was last season. And the receiving room for Tennessee is going to be very solid, definitely with the new addition at receiver Chris Braswell joining the team. And new tight end Holden Stay should be a big addition at tight end. The defense should be solid, and the secondary brought in some big additions in the transfer portal. I expect this to be a close game, but I think Tennessee will win this game. So I have NC State actually dropping this game and move it to 1-1 on the season. The next game for NC State will be at home against Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech went 3-9 last season with a very easy schedule. They are not a great team, and I don't expect this game to be close. Louisiana Tech could possibly be better. They have the best transfer portal class in the conference, but they will not be able to compete with a team like NC State. So I definitely have NC State winning this game and move it to 2-1 on the season. The next game for NC State is on the road against Clemson. This game is going to be another big test for this NC State team. Clemson is always a solid team. Maybe they have not been that same dominant national title contender that we used to know them as, but they still have been a top contender for the ACC championship, and they will be in that conversation next season as well. They return a decent amount of offensive production, and they return Cade Klubnik at quarterback. The defense is very deep on talent, and they should definitely be good again. I expect Clemson to be good, but I think I am higher on NC State. NC State's kind of trending up, and Clemson's kind of trending down. And NC State actually beat Clemson last season. And I think NC State will win a close game on the road, and I have NC State moving to 3-1 on the season. The next game for NC State is at home against Northern Illinois. This is another pretty easy non-conference game for NC State. I know that Northern Illinois could be solid next season. They finished the season with a 3-game win streak and won 7 games. They should be a solid MAC team, but I do not see them competing with a team like NC State. So again, I have NC State winning their non-conference game against a group of 5 opponent, and I have NC State moving to 4-1 on the season. The next game for NC State will be at home against Wake Forest. Wake Forest was not a great team last season, but they are top 15 in return and production on the defensive side. And head coach Dave Clawson is trying to get this team back on the right track after their first losing season since 2015. Wake Forest went 4-8 last season, and I do not expect them to be a lot better in 2024. They didn't do a great job in the transfer portal, and I don't think they will have the talent to compete with the best teams in the ACC. And I have NC State beating Wake Forest at home and move it to 5-1 on the season. The next game for NC State will be at home against Syracuse. Syracuse is a very interesting team to me heading into 2024. Last season, they actually got shut out in their bowl game 45-0, but they are still top 10 in return in production, and they should be able to move on from that loss in their bowl game. And they did a very solid job in the transfer portal, and Syracuse could be a decent ACC team next season. They brought in former Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord. They also have the 4th best transfer portal class in the ACC, and they have done a very good job at building up the defensive side in the transfer portal. I do not know if Syracuse will have the talent to win an ACC championship in 2024, but I do think that they could be solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if NC State lost this game. But NC State does have this game at home, so I do think NC State will win this game, so I have NC State moving to 6-1 on the season. The next game for NC State is on the road against California. I know that NC State doesn't play many ranked teams and they have a very easy schedule, but they have many games that they could potentially slip up in, and one of those games that I believe could be a trap game for NC State is on the road against California. Everybody's starting to look at sleeper teams for 2024, but I feel like nobody is really talking about this California team. They are top 15 in return in production, and this is the second season in a row where they had a top 6 transfer portal class in their conference. Last season, they had the 6th best transfer portal class in the Pac-12, and now they have the 5th best transfer portal class in the ACC. They returned one of the best running backs in the country, Jaden Ott, and I really think this California team is trending up. I like the head coach, and I highly doubt that they will win the ACC, but I expect California to be good, and they should be able to compete with the best teams in the ACC and potentially win 8 or 9 games. This California offense is going to be very good, and I do think that California will upset NC State, so I have NC State losing this game on the road and move it to 6-2 on the season. But following their game against California, they will have a bye week and then they play Stanford at home, another new team in the ACC and another former team from the Pac-12. But I don't think Stanford is going to be that good. I know that they return Ashton Daniels at quarterback and their number 1 receiver, but this team really doesn't have a lot of talent and there's a lot to clean up on defense. I expect Stanford to be one of the worst teams in the ACC, if not the worst team in the ACC. And I do not expect a lot from Stanford in 2024. I think NC State will win this game very easily, so I have NC State moving to 7-2 on the season. The next game for NC State will be at home against Duke. NC State lost to Duke last season, but I still do expect Duke to take a step down in 2024. This could probably be a tough game for NC State. Duke should have a solid defense again, and maybe Duke overexceeds expectations if Malik Murphy becomes one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. But losing Riley Leonard and head coach Mike Elko could definitely hurt this team. I think NC State will beat Duke in 2024 and get their revenge, so I have NC State moving to 8-2 on the season. But following their game against Duke, they will have a bye week, and it's their last bye week of the season, and then they go on the road to play Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is another team that has potential to be really solid in the ACC. I really think Brent Key has this team heading in the right direction, and he led them to a 7-win season in his first season at Georgia Tech, which was Georgia Tech's first winning season since 2018. So Brent Key is definitely doing great things for this Georgia Tech team so far. Haynes King is going to be back at quarterback, and the defense has a lot of work to do, but they did sign former Duke coordinator in the coaching staff. I don't know if Georgia Tech will win more games in 2024 because of the brutal schedule, but this Georgia Tech team is going to have many opportunities to make a name out of themselves and pull off an upset against great teams. But I do think NC State will win a difficult game on the road because I do think NC State will have the talent advantage over Georgia Tech. And I think that NC State will be prepared going into this game coming off a bye week, so I have NC State moving to 9-2 on the season with the win against Georgia Tech on the road. And the last game of the season for NC State will be on the road against North Carolina. North Carolina is another team that could be really solid in the ACC, and the ACC is really wide open. But personally, I am actually not high on this North Carolina team. I think they're kind of at the end of the road with Mack Brown as head coach. They're ranking near the bottom of the country in return and production, and they lost NFL quarterback Drake May. The big thing coming back for North Carolina will be Amarion Hampton at running back, but I just think there's way too much to clean up on defense, and losing Drake May will hurt. Max Johnson could be a decent quarterback, but he is not Drake May, and I would not be surprised if North Carolina only won 6 games, because I really do think this team is heading downhill. This will still be a difficult game for NC State though, because it is on the road against their in-state rival. But I still do think NC State will find a way to beat North Carolina just like they did last season. So I have NC State finishing the season with a 7-1 conference record and a 10-2 overall record. I do think NC State will find a way to have their first double-digit win season since 2002. They have a lot of positives going for them. The ACC is wide open and the schedule for NC State is pretty easy. So I do think NC State is going to be really good in 2024 and they could definitely surprise a lot of people. And not that many people talk about the new quarterback addition of Grayson McCall. So it will be interesting to see what he can do for this team in 2024. But you guys let me know how many games you think NC State will win in 2024 down in the comments below. But that is going to do it for the video. Let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload daily college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing. And also consider joining my Discord server down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.